The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
People, let's talk about trading Jonathan Lekkerimäki, keeping Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Trevor Beggs going to join us from the woods in Ottawa. Maybe we'll keep this one short, but somehow in August, a lot is in the mind. Let's do this, Canucks fans.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks somehow, some way. In August, man, Trevor, he wanted to do it today. Maybe I thought we were taking the day off today, brother. I really thought we did. But, hey, we got to give you this episode again of Locked On Canucks, brought to you by FanDuel. Do yourself a favor, visit FanDuel today and start planning your future bets now. You know, football season is around the corner, and it's a good time to bet on the futures, okay? For real. Speaking of the future, again, in the near future, we're going to bring Trevor Beggs in here. He's in the woods, and if we're talking about what's coming up next, why aren't we talking about Jonathan Lekkerimäki? Now, Trevor, welcome to the program, in the woods. I hope you're not hacking a dart and breaking a heart. It's what, 6 a.m. in 2 a.m. in the morning in Ottawa?
No, it's a solid like 9:15 at night kind of thing. Come on, man. Look, you kind of see me right there's a car coming right now. Hey, here we go, buddy.
Oh, there
I'm
you
not
go,
totally
man.
in the woods, man. I'm not totally in the woods. Hey, if you're on YouTube, you can't see me. And if you're audio only, you can't see me anyway. So it's all good, man. Because this is the Locked On Canucks, baby.
And on that note, Trevor, I say we keep this one short. 10 minutes, 12 minutes of Jonathan Lekkerimäki talk. Because, that's all I can give you. Coulthard got bounced. Got a session coming up soon with Shally Rahal. And it's August Canucks talk, okay? That being said, I am curious because a part of me feels as if you're going to go down the route of trading him because you're questioning whether the Canucks fans have forgot about him, whether the management don't view him as like the biggest piece to all of this. They extended blockbuster for a long time. Does that have something to do with that? Connor Garland here for a long time. Like, where does Jonathan Lekkerimäki fit in all of this?
Yeah, I think Jonathan Lekkerimäki is almost a forgotten guy in Vancouver in a sense, right? Which is weird because the Vancouver Canucks don't have the biggest prospect pool, right? It's Willander and it's Lekkerimäki and it's a bunch of guys. And in this abbreviated episode, I also want to touch on one guy who we got our eye on, right? Like, who's our guy among Canucks prospects coming into this season? But Jonathan Lekkerimäki, I think Canucks management is very high on him. He obviously had a great season in the AHL, but he is also a guy that needs a lot of seasoning. And this is a management group and an organization that can't afford to be patient at this stage, right? I know Spin Chicklets, I think, had the report about Quinn Hughes being 100% gone. And, I'm not totally buying that, right? I'm believing Quinn Hughes wants to be in Vancouver. I'm not totally buying everything that's coming out of Spin Chicklets, okay? But with Jonathan Lekkerimäki, look, it's an interesting situation because he's got the offensive potential. He's got the top six potential. The Canucks need top six guys. But is Jonathan Lekkerimäki going to deliver that in the next 2 seasons? That's the big question. And other guys have done that. I know like the one big comparable for Jonathan Lekkerimäki is Matt Coronado, right? The 2021 draft came to the Flames last season, had, 20 plus goals, 47 points, signed a massive extension in Calgary. But that kind of seems like the ceiling for Jonathan Lekkerimäki. And I'm not totally convinced that he can deliver that. Well, the ceiling for next season, not overall, okay? But tell me I'm wrong. Like, do you see Jonathan Lekkerimäki doing more than that next season?
I do, dude. Why are we just forgetting the fact that Rick Tocchet was so bad at coaching last year? Pushing the right buttons. I mean, there were a lot of times late in the year where I feel as if 5-on-5, Jonathan Lekkerimäki was doing enough. And yeah, was he falling down a lot? Sure. But he was getting right back up. Not scared of anything. And there was that particular game in New Jersey. I know we scored the shootout winner, but I feel like he was such a big factor in that third period. And
he was, for sure. That was a hell of a game.
And I feel like he just barely got chances. Like, it's not even about who he's playing with and who's his center. I know it's all connected, but I'm just talking about giving a game breaker a chance on the ice. I feel as if he did take a huge step last year. Why are we discrediting the huge step that he took? Again, not just in the NHL when he was there at spurts, small spurts. I would say 15% of the games Lekkerimäki played in the NHL, he was, again, I think a soft prominent, but in the AHL, outside of the playoffs, I don't know if an injury was involved or if Rick Tocchet, just destroyed this guy's confidence. But before the playoffs for Abbotsford, before that injury too, that he had when in like January, February with his jaw or whatever, this guy was ripping it up. This guy, and this was his first year in North America. I think this guy has game in him, and there's opportunity. There's opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if he seizes it with the new coach and if he just gets more chances. And Trevor, like I brought up, this team has Garland and Besser, and they have DeBrusque for a long time too. Like they have a lot of money on their wings, but it's not that much money if Jonathan Lekkerimäki is way better than those guys when it comes to bringing in offense. I mean, I just brought up 3 players that were going to get you 50 points consistently. Besser might give you 60, but Lekkerimäki at his best, like he's giving you 27, 35 goals. He's going to get to 60, 65, 70, earlier in his career. He has the higher ceiling offensively.
Yeah, he's got the higher ceiling, but I think it goes back to that question. Can he deliver that in the next year or two? And Kyle, you're saying yes, but I'm going to push back on you a bit because we've done quite a few lineup projections throughout this offseason. Okay. And I don't think once either you or I have had Jonathan Lekkerimäki.
I forgot about him because you're so dark.
That's my point, man. He's a forgotten guy in Vancouver.
I know he is. And again,
which is strange.
I'm smoking a lot of that West Coast bias. I'm in an optimistic point right in my life. I don't know what's going on. I haven't even been reading Deepak Chopra. I'm reading a book on Atlanta hip hop and its rise. Okay, but the reading is doing something, and I'm feeling hopeful. That being said, to play devil's advocate, ironically, I am talking to Trevor Beggs again, ironically. So we got to play the devil's role here. Trevor, maybe we've forgotten about him because we're so desperate for a second line center, and like we've made bed with the fact that we'd way rather get rid of him rather than Tom Willander. Right?
Yeah, which is also strange in the sense that Vancouver Canucks are supposed to have this like top 5 defense and they need offense. It's strange from that perspective, but I think there's so much hope for Tom Willander, right? Again, he's got like more clear Brock Faber-like potential. And again, the strength of this team, you could see it being the defense and shutting things down and the mobility of Tom Willander too, man. Like this guy looks like a top 4 stud. And it is strange to me just from watching Willander tape that I feel more certain in Tom Willander than I do about Jonathan Lekkerimäki, despite the fact that Tom Willander has not played a professional hockey game yet.
Yeah, I think I ultimately think there's such a poisonous taste in our mouths where like everything went down a tier outside of Kiefer Sherwood and Quinn Hughes and Philip Hronek. For real. Like we can't even appreciate fully what Jake DeBrusque did last year because of how bad last season was. And internally that was probably the most difficult place for a rookie to play. I mean, we saw Sheloff struggle with it, and Lekkerimäki, struggle would be a strong word. But again, I did mention, as much as I liked his games at points, like where I was like, this guy's confident. He's making plays with the puck. And yeah, was it inconsistent? Sure. But bro, this guy was playing for a locker room that had its 2 best centers. And this guy's an offensive guy. Like maybe when he visualized how he'd find success immediately in the NHL, he pictured, Pettersson and Miller being, his centerman. Right. But right away he gets in that run. It's like, these two don't like each other. They're off their game. Like what is this? You know what I'm saying? Like, that would knock any player out of their game. It knocked the whole room out of sorts. Like instead of rather than or other than Quinn Hughes and Kiefer Sherwood, like look at what it did to Brock Besser. So I feel as if we're not giving enough credit for Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Like I would in the professional games that he played last year, I don't know what the number would be, like 60, 70, maybe, like I don't know what the total games would be. The fact that this guy came over as a mid-first round pick, came over after having a huge season in Sweden and doing his thing at the World Junior Championships. The fact that he came over in year 1 in North America and still played really, really well in most of those games, give credit to this guy. And this guy has a fresh start going into the season. Like now he knows what to expect on North American ice. I know he doesn't have Miller. He might have Hedl, but like, I don't know, like it's different, but he's more mature. And I think there is a shot for him to surprise us. I do.
Yeah.
And I just think we're being a bit too harsh on him. Like he's a automatic. He's not even a 50-50. Is this guy going to be a good NHL? Like people are like, I saw somebody in the comments already saying, is he going to be Hunter Shinkaruk or Shirokov? Like Nikolai Goldobin? No, Lekkerimäki doesn't deserve that.
Yeah, well, let's hype him up for a second here, Kyle, because again, like you said, he came to the AHL last season and he had the most goals for a 21-year-old at one point, or at least the most goals per game for a 21-year-old in the AHL. And came up to the NHL and the points weren't there, right? 3 goals, 6 points, 24 games, but he looked good in moments, right? Ironically, a lot of that with JT Miller, who is now gone. AHL playoffs were a different story. He did not look dangerous on most nights. The one game I was at, he looked damn good with the 2 goals there.
There you go.
Game for a win for the Abbotsford Canucks. And again, a bit of a rough postseason for him too, right? The dental surgery, coming back, being thrust into the AHL playoffs, which are an effing grind, man. And yeah, honestly, man, like the World Juniors MVP was, not that far away in the distant future either. With Jonathan Lekkerimäki, I'm just saying, you were kind of like poo-pooed on the whole Matt Coronado thing, but if Jonathan Lekkerimäki comes in here and has like 24 goals and 47 points, like fans are going to be through the roof, man. Come on.
No, they are.
I mean, tell me right now. Okay, again, we've forgotten about this guy, man. You and I smoking the West Coast bias, thinking about other things in life, perhaps. But how many games do you think Jonathan Lekkerimäki plays for the Vancouver Canucks next season, or does he get traded in a bigger package? I mean, that's the other question that you kind of dropped off the top too.
Yeah.
Like, what's more likely?
Okay, if they can fix their second line position with like a 50, like Lekkerimäki in a second round pick plus something else for Marco Rossi, you're doing that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I only brought that up because I was trying to get a mental gauge on like what you think his value is. Now to answer your question about how many games he's gonna play, bro, I can't play chess. I can't do the Rubik's Cube. Like so much he's the 15th, the 14th forward here. I'm high on this guy, but I feel like that depends on injury and what he does with his immediate chance. Because like if he's gonna start the season in the AHL most likely, and I don't know, like he has a good October, has a good November, gets the first call up, like maybe he's 10 times better, right? And he sticks around the whole time because the Canucks don't have a player like that up their lineup. They don't. No one close. Like in their system. And that's another thing I want to say too. Like in their system, they don't have wingers like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I do wonder if this guy, like we're all talking about, like, can it be like Linus Karlsson or like Archie Baines, like who are prospects I certainly have my eye on heading into next season, like on their fourth line. Could Jonathan Lekkerimäki be in like that Sam Gagner spot? Is that the best use of time for like a 21, 22-year-old where he's a fourth line guy who's like PP1 per se, right?
No. That never works, man. Like tell me who's like a power play specialist who barely like, who's a forward power play specialist on an elite power play one, I tend
to agree. I think he's got to be top 9. Even if he gets people, he's got to be a top 9 guy, I think, for your Vancouver Canucks. But it could be a situation where he's like kind of getting fourth line minutes in like a tie game or where they're leading. But when they're trailing, you get him out there more. Like there are ways to utilize Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Be creative with, like, just to say it hasn't been done often doesn't mean to say it like it can't be done for the Vancouver Canucks and Jonathan Lekkerimäki now.
Yeah, 100%. Anyways, we got to get out of here ASAP. But you had one more thing you want to say? Like, ask like, who's like one player you're not thinking about? I know you asked the question off the hop. I already forgot about it. But let's answer that before we get out of here.
Yeah, like who's your guy? Like aside from Jonathan Lekkerimäki and Tom Willander, the Canucks' top 2 prospects, like who is the Canucks prospect you're most interested in watching next season?
Max Sasson, dude.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it's okay. To be honest, people, it's August 14th, and I already spent 30 minutes talking about Aatu Ratu 4 days ago. Like, if you want, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm gonna literally smack my head with this microphone. Okay, so let me just talk about Max Sasson a bit. You brought up Teddy Bluger having a lot of pressure on him yesterday, which I found very curious. But like, there's a world where he's just as good as Teddy Bluger, and I wonder if that makes the Canucks think about some things. And Max Sasson is fast, and I'm not going to go out here and say, oh, Max Sasson is a play driver, but he's a part-time play driver, but he's confident. He's confident. He takes the puck and he's fast. He was impressive last year. Like, there weren't a lot of bad moments for that guy. Like, I can't even name 2, name 1. Like, I'm not saying he's the best player ever. I'm just saying he gave you a lot of surplus value down the lineup and the speed element. Like, I'm curious to see how that, because this is a huge opportunity for him, right? So I'm just journeyman guy. We've seen guys like this in the league before. Like, I wonder if he takes another step and just like, what's the Canadian saying? Grab the bull by the horns. Grab the bull by the horns and finish the whole bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios.
Grab the bull by the horns and give a wank on the wank. What? Okay, all right. So my guy, I would say, Linus Karlsson, man. Like I'm starting to drink the Linus Karlsson Kool-Aid, and maybe I was watching too much of the Abbotsford Canucks in the AHL playoffs, but this guy was just lights out for the Abbotsford Canucks in the regular season, and maybe not the sexiest player, like little Jake DeBrusk just like banging the rebound goals, but and again, like in the AHL playoffs too, like, you know, over a half goal a game. Man, oh man, I do wonder. To me, it might be a competition between Jonathan Lekkerimäki and Linus Karlsson. Now, Max Hassan, I think, because of the lack of center depth in this organization, like I think they want him to be a center, and maybe he's got to light up next season in the AHL. But I think for me, it's like Linus Karlsson versus Jonathan Lekkerimäki more or less, and Linus Karlsson, a much different player than Jonathan Lekkerimäki. I mean, I'm more of a fan in the here and now of letting Jonathan Lekkerimäki cook in the minors, take on a bigger role if one of those AHL guys makes it to the organization, and see what Linus Karlsson can do in the NHL level. Because I think this guy showed some game last season, both in the NHL and AHL. So Linus Karlsson, man, oh man, they're keeping the Alex Burrows trade tree alive. At least give some value to keep the trade tree alive, man. Come on. But yeah, Linus Karlsson, man, I'm not in terms of guys who are the obvious choice. Like, he's a guy I certainly have my eye on next season, because I think he has a damn good chance of making this team.
That's unreal, man. We've come a long way, and again, August 14th, Linus Karlsson talk, and you know, rightfully so. He deserved it. Won a championship with the Farm Club, and looked way better than I thought he'd ever look at the NHL. And again, don't forget, like, this is how bad Rick Tocchet was at coaching. Like, look at what the Höglander, Pettersson, and Linus Karlsson did in Nashville that one game. Like, they dominated that game the whole way through. Like, they were just magnificent. And I don't even feel like they got another minute together the rest of the season. I don't even think I'm lying about that. For real. That's how bad Rick Tocchet was at coaching last season. Anyways, Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs. Gotta go, Trevor.
Gotta go. Okay, last question. Callum Sandu, Callum McKenzie, longtime commenter. We love all of you listening to Locked On Canucks. Is Kravtsov better than Lekkerimäki is what he's asking. He asked a few comments about it, so I wanted to shout it out. No, he's not. And I don't think he's better right now. Yeah. Even as a 24, 25-year-old.
Yeah. Boom, bam. Okay.
Boom, bam.
Man. Callum Sandu, man, just trying to start shit, man. That was another episode of Locked On Canucks. Hit the like button, subscribe, help us out. Happy wives, happy lives. Again, that's all we got to say. Support us, please. And enjoy yourself. Take care of your neighbors. And go Canucks, go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.